Welcome to Tya Talk. I am here with two of my favorite people. I have lots of favorite people, but you're two of them. I am here with Deborah Wilson and Anne-Marie Young, recent Tya Bootcamp graduates. But we're going to talk about all kinds of things. But I first want to just welcome both of you. Thank you for joining me. You're both in the UK. That's why we're doing this special time.
Yep.
And wherever you're watching this, I cheated a little bit, and we're actually sharing this outside the Tya Practice Facebook group. So we're all over the place. We're on YouTube. We're on a few places on Facebook, and we're in the Tya Practice group. So as people sign on, we'll just start saying hi to everybody. Type in hello. Let us know where you're watching from. We're going to have a discussion about a lot of things. Anything you want to ask about is always open. But we're going to talk about money. That thing that we're not supposed to talk about in spiritual circles, because money's not important, but it is. So let's kind of dive into that a little bit, and I'll start with this interesting idea that anything spiritual should be free, and that everything should just be given. And I know everybody doesn't think that way, but a lot of people think that way. And I like just going right into that. We have a lot of new people in the Facebook group. If you're watching this in the Tya Practice Facebook group, we got there's like 200 new members that came in over the weekend. And a lot of people come into a group like this, and right away it's sort of like, are you here to sell us stuff? Is this about just selling stuff? Well, I'll tell you right off the bat that it's not just about selling stuff. We're here about sharing this practice with the world. And if you have a trepidation around that, I understand it. Everybody wants to have a fantastic experience and not be pushed and pushed and pushed that you have to buy something. So I don't ever want to send that message. Yes, we talk about things that cost money, but we're going to dive into that and the whole mindset around that and why that's a trigger, how that was a trigger for one or maybe both of you, and how you have evolved on that. So Deborah, why don't you kick us off, just your journey from seeing me, I think on LOA Today, right?
It was, yes, it was an LOA.
Take us through that journey briefly.
Yeah. That was because already when I heard about you on LOA Today, I was already, as well, very skeptical, because I was a dyed-in-the-wool Abrahamster, and I was, who is this young upstart claiming to be different or better to Abraham? So I was not.
Which I never said, by the way. I never
said that was all by conjecture, purely by conjecture. So I was not kindly predisposed to you at all. And so I was like, right, now let's listen to this upstart then. And of course, as soon as you started talking and streaming, I was like, oh, holy shit. I don't know if we're allowed to swear, but never mind. This totally, like, every single word resonates. And much as I didn't want to like it, I was completely, and then of course when he started talking about the vibrational flow, I know we have a lot of new people, but the law of polarity and vibrational flow, so that every time you naturally go up and down, which Abraham doesn't talk about, and when you introduced that concept, that was the major thing. Now it finally all fell into place. And so anyway, trying not to be too long-winded, I didn't actually do any of the masterclasses. I just listened to you on LOA Today. And then you very serendipitously released I don't understand the marketing job. Was it a beta, BETA? How do you even pronounce that? The version of
beta, like a trial version. Yeah.
What he said. I can't say beta. My American accent, and which was sort of like my gateway drug into boot camp, because if it hadn't been for that, and if it hadn't in fact been for the wonderful Anne-Marie, who's, I don't know if you're to my right or my left.
It's the other way, it's opposite.
I don't know, that way.
Let's do this.
Somewhere over there, who we'd already been chatting due to LOA Today, and we sort of chatted about this, and so, which is lovely that we're both here together today, because our journey has been very much along the way together. But anyway, stop me if I go on, I will. So anyway, it was exactly what we were saying earlier. Money was involved, and I told myself, well, how can anything, Esther, spiritual possibly be charged for? That's just not right. And And of course, I had the massive, huge money block of which I was unaware, which was stopping me getting anywhere. So anyway, the whatever you said version of the money mindset came along at a very accessible price. And even so, my mind was like, no. And somehow, it's probably chatting with Anne-Marie, who was signing up, and somehow I managed to let myself sign up for that. And it was mind-blowing, like from the first instant, the boom revelation of the money block that I had, which then, of course, allowed me to overcome all my preconceived ideas and go for the bootcamp journey. So kept it just about.
Yeah. Well, I like that you're talking. You're saying what a lot of people think. You find something, and I won't go into the whole Abraham comparison thing. You can all do that all you want. I made peace with Abraham a long time ago, because if it weren't for Esther Hicks' channeling of Abraham, I would not be channeling the stream. That's just all there is to it, because she made it very palatable for me. It wasn't something that I thought, even though I had this stuff coming to me, I really was judgmental of those spiritual people, the people that would channel and they jerk all around and all that kind of stuff. I was very judgmental of that. I was very fearful around all of that. And I didn't want to be that. And when I discovered Esther channeling Abraham, it was like music to my ears, because she was channeling what I had been receiving my whole life. Not exactly the same, it wasn't a carbon copy, but it was the universal law is universal law, and it was definitely rooted in that. And I loved it and still do. So the comparison energy, I guess, is just sort of an inevitable thing, because we're discerners of preference. But I think there's plenty of room for lots of people to channel. I know more people than ever are channeling now because of Esther Hicks channeling Abraham. But when you get into this spiritual stuff, and then you start hearing people talk about programs and courses and offerings, and this costs money and that costs money, that wall goes up. Nobody wants to be taken advantage of. Why does this have to cost money? Why don't you just do this for free? And there's a whole conversation that we can't have around all of that. But the detuning of all of that is very powerful, because that is a sign of an abundance block right there. When you think, gosh, I can't spend money on something, it's because you think that you're limited, and that your money is something that you've got to protect, and that you've got this guru trying to take your money from you and separate you from it, right? I totally understand that. So I love that we're diving right into this. And you had a wonderful post here. Those of you that are watching in the Tya Practice group, if you're not a member of the Tya Practice Facebook group, join it, TYA. But you placed a wonderful post talking about that, and the conversation that ensued was very enlightening. People would say things like, as soon as you start selling something, I'm gone, I'm turned off, I'm out of here. But there's a wealth of information offered here that you never have to spend a dime on, because we love sharing it. And if you're getting turned off because we also sell things, you're also cutting yourself off from all the stuff we are sharing, which everything in this video today is shared free of charge. So Anne-Marie, let's talk about your journey a little bit, and how that how you discovered the stream, and how you got through boot camp, and how you evolved on the money topic.
Sure. So much the same as Deborah, I was watching LOA today, and I've been studying LOA for quite a while, and you popped up, and it again is similar to Deborah. It was that polarity that grabbed me, because it was the first time that it felt realistic, because I couldn't be high vibe all the time. That wasn't happening, and I was kind of getting scared of going like down the spiral, as we say. So that really intrigued me, and I had blocks which I wanted to investigate. So yeah, when that course came up, and it was on as sort of like a trial price, it's like, yeah, I'm grabbing that, because I do believe that if you invest in something, you commit to it. Because I think many times people sign up for free courses and they never attend, because there's no value attached to that. So I do think when you have that monetary value to something, you commit to it, and you're more likely to go through with it. So that didn't bother me, if I'm honest. And also, I follow Dan Mangena, who's one of our masters, and he put this post out ages ago that said, invest in yourself, don't invest in things, invest in yourself. And that just triggered. So that's what I've kind of been doing for the last like 6 months, which has been amazing. So I didn't have that fear so much, but the course was just outstanding and I loved doing it. So yeah, to me it was worth every penny and it brought in more than I paid. Absolutely.
So to thank you for that. And so to kind of tie back around to money, we get into talking about, and were you both in the last summit
Yeah.
where the
Yes.
stream talked about pyramids? I think you were. So
Yeah.
we also, in addition to this, we do these private events called stream summits, where the stream, I channel the stream for 4 hours, and you can come on into a Zoom meeting and converse with the stream during that 4 hour period. And this concept of pyramids came up, the financial pyramid, and the fact that and where we differ from a lot of teachings, it seems, is that yes, we do talk about the fact that we are in vibrational flow. We're not going to just get happy and be happy all the time and get every single thing that we want. We're not even here for that. We are here for the challenges of life and the experience of life. And when you learn to take the judgment out of all of that, suddenly the full experience of life is this amazing thing that is serving our expansion, and we really get into understanding what that is. That's why this group is different than most spiritually focused groups on Facebook, because we're not just the feel good stuff. We want to get into that real, that shadow, and that darkness that a lot of us dip into. We all dip into it, in fact, and what that really is about, and how we can manage that very differently than we're taught to manage it, and how we can really view all of humanity through the lens of appreciation, which is how Source views us. That includes appreciation of our financial system, because it's a creation of humanity. And we chose to manifest into this earth environment, into humanity, right? We chose this vibrationally. And a lot of people will disagree with that. I wouldn't have chosen that. I wouldn't have chosen my parents. I think all of us would say that at one time probably said I wouldn't have chosen my parents. From that 3D perspective, of course not. But from a zoomed out perspective, my parents were the perfect parents. Verbally abusive, yes. Distant, yes. Disconnected from my life, sure. But look, that has done so much for me that I have full appreciation for it now. I also have applied that to Earth's financial system. We have an energy exchange financial system in this world, and that means that all of the things that we enjoy as humanity that are beyond just nature. We were existing in nature, but guess what? We didn't like that. That's why we moved out of it. There's a reason that we're not running around in the jungle anymore, right? We're not running around the jungle because we found that we like air conditioning, and we like heat, and we like structures, and we like shelter from the rain, and we like to be able to, sit on a sofa and use a computer and have electricity. So we have all these things that we've created as humanity that we appreciate, and they all take effort and action and labor. They all do. Someone's got to build the iPhone. Someone's got to run the power plant. Someone's got to run Facebook. Someone's got to run this StreamYard, right? Someone's got to build your home. Someone's got to now produce your food. I get that you can grow your own food, but we are fed because we have mass produced food. So someone's got to do that stuff. And if all we have to do is sit and think and just allow everything to materialize, well, there's action involved in it. There are building blocks of life, so therefore there is action. And so there's an energy exchange in the creation of this action. So if someone's got to do it, then someone's got to labor for it, and we should exchange and give them something for their laboring for it. So that's a system of energy exchange, and it's our system of commerce. So existing at the top of the pyramid means that we are in deep appreciation of the system of commerce. And people that have a generous flow of wealth, guess where they are in the pyramid? They're at the top. They're not the ones complaining. They're not the ones saying this shouldn't cost anything, that should be free, nothing should cost me anything, everything should just be given to me, the universe always provides. That's the bottom of the pyramid, because the universe always does provide, but it's providing in a system of energy exchange, and there's evidence of that everywhere. So you can demonize that and complain about it, but you will notice that the people that are demonizing and complaining are the ones at the base of the pyramid holding it up. Thoughts on that? Either one of you, dive in.
I was demonizing it big time. That's for sure. That and the employment system. So that was a huge aha moment for me personally, the demonization of both. And then, of course, I got in England the additional layer of the class system, which was all very tied in with it for me. So in my mind, it was that I couldn't be authentic. I couldn't be myself if I was buying into this whole class system. And the one time that I did manifest a good job with a very good income, I of course manifested exactly that, a really, really snooty company in the way that only English people can be. And so it just confirmed all of my prejudices, because guess what? I was manifesting what I believed. No.
We create our bubble of reality via our beliefs, and notice how your life shifts as your beliefs shift.
Yeah. Absolutely. Did you have that, Anne-Marie? Were you demonizing money?
To a degree, I quite enjoy working, so that was that aspect for me. But I think when I had the pyramid, I just felt a lot freer, because I could understand how I could get back up to the top. So I could see, so when I have been stuck and grinding in a job that I haven't enjoyed, and I've been moaning, and I understand how I brought all that along, but I just now felt, okay, so I just have to change my views. It doesn't mean I have to work so much harder to get to the top. That's not the situation. It just was freeing in the fact that I thought, okay, I can make my way up. So I feel I've already made my way up that pyramid.
Cool.
Yeah, and the beginning of the top of the pyramid isn't about labor; it's about appreciation of the pyramid.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. So getting to the top of the pyramid is having a deep appreciation of what is, instead of trying to push against what is. And the interesting thing I've noticed too, and if you really think about how humanity operates, the things that we push against, we never change them. They just keep coming back around and back around and back around. And it's so funny now, when you get over a certain age and you've lived enough decades, and you hear the things that people are complaining about now. I harken back to the early 70s where my 3D awareness started kicking in. Same stuff. Yeah. We're complaining about the same things right now that we were complaining about 50 years ago. We absolutely are. None of that stuff gets solved because we push against it. This is wrong. This is bad. This is evil. This shouldn't be. This has to change. And politicians get up on their soapbox. I'm going to change this, and they never do. So it's this cycle, and you can either demonize it and push against it, or you can just love all of it. And I have found when you love all of it, you rise to the top of the pyramid on any topic.
Absolutely, and it affects you less because you're viewing it in a different way.
Yeah,
but you're not attracting it.
That releasing of judgment. I believe in just get happy and you get everything you want. I do believe in that, but I don't believe that it's that simple, and I think that frustrates a lot of people.
Absolutely.
This idea of because that frustrated me in that message. That just get happy. Okay, that's great, but I have all this stuff from my childhood that I haven't fully worked out that comes back around. I have these triggers. I have all this emotional stuff, and until I dealt with all that, I wasn't able to just get happy.
No, it's impossible. How can you? When the vibrational flow takes you down, and of course, until you're aware of that, it's just you just keep berating yourself, because when you are up the spiral, when I know we have a lot of new listeners, so UTS up the spiral in a good place, then of course it's bloody easy to do that, isn't it? But then when it takes you down, and that was what always stuck with me, that I just didn't know what I wasn't doing well enough to keep me focused. And because once again, I still love Abraham, absolutely, but her just saying, do not ever argue for your limitations. So it's like, no, don't focus on that. And then the second that I actually turned towards, I think Anne-Marie said, the shadow side, and just shone the light on it. What's the Rumi quote, that when you shine, the crack allows the light to come in, or whatever it is, which I'm butchering that quote. But once you're aware of all of that, and you get rid of all the crap, that was down there, then of course it's not going to take you down anymore. It's so sort of blindingly obvious, but until somebody tells you, until you see it, or I guess until you're ready to see it, that's what it is. Then
that's a good point. So I see a lot of familiar. Some of you have registered and your name shows up, and sometimes it just says Facebook user. So to everyone, Facebook user saying hello, hello back. Debbie G, good to see you on here. Luke, always good to see you. Brent was on in the beginning. You may still be on now. Say hi. Let us know where you are. If you're new to the group, say hi. New to the group. Just let us know if you have questions. There's a lot of questions around law of attraction and money blocks. Type your questions in. We'll dive into them.
Yeah.
Hi, Mona. Good to see you. So the biggest secret, if you will, to solving any kind of block, a money block, a health block, whatever it is understanding that we are operating in vibrational flow. And yes, you can go up your spiral, up in high vibration, getting into that source connected, joyful space. And in that high vibrational space, you can be hopeful and you can believe and you can trust and you can do all of those things. But vibrational flow inevitably is going to take you down. Well, there's little things that we can manifest with ease because they're little. They're inconsequential to us, really, like a nice parking space or a serendipitous interaction or a little something here and there. It's easy for us to wrap our belief system around that, and they just happen for us. But then the big stuff tends to be the things that we block because we've made it big. We're thinking about it all the time. So therefore, we're moving through this up and down vibrational flow that we all know that we're in because our emotions are expressed that way. We're thinking about money up here, and then we're thinking about money here, and then we're thinking about money there. Well, what happens? Money's flowing. Yes, money's flowing. Everything's great. I feel the money coming in. I feel wealthy. Everything's flowing, and you start to see a little evidence of that. And then vibrational flow takes you down a little bit. But how is that really going to work? Where's that money going to come from? It didn't work last time. And then you can just slide right on down to the bottom of the spiral.
Absolutely.
It's hopeless. I'm never going to have money again. Oh my gosh, the world is so unfair. I'm not born to the right class. I don't have the right education. People like me don't have any money. Boom. The universe is saying yes at every level. And that's the magic of vibrational flow. The universe is saying, yes, more money. Here it comes. Yeah, less money. It's gonna unravel a little bit. You're right. You're broke. You're always broke. You're always in this cycle. That's how we get into these cycles. We're going through vibrational flow. So the trick is to learn to manage your vibrational flow differently, and that takes practice. That's why we created the Tya practice. It takes practice to shift that mindset through vibrational flow. You're not going to solve vibrational flow. We're not here to solve that. Vibrational flow is what creates the universe and expands it and expands our being, because we have challenges and obstacles and things that we want that we have to figure out how to get. And that expands us. That is the driver of all creation. It's a glorious thing. But we've been taught to demonize that, right?
Yeah.
Obstacles are bad. We should feel good all the time. We should never feel pain. Everything, we're living in a society today where everyone needs to agree about everything all the time, right? We all need to agree about everything all the time. You cannot be offensive in any way. No one can think differently than you. We're definitely moving more and more and more. But as we do that, what happens? We're more polarized. People are scattering to their corners in their version of that, and it's more of a divide than ever, because we have different people with their own versions of that singular thinking. Well, you go up your spiral, you can just love all of it. All of humanity, all of the money system, up your spiral and the top of the pyramid are similar, but they're different mindsets, because the pyramid is about everyone else. The spiral is about you. That's the two different things in these teachings. Your spiral is your emotional spiral. You're spiraling up, you're spiraling down. The pyramid is about all of humanity. So who's at the top of the pyramid and who's creating and carrying the weight of the base? The weight of the base of the pyramid are all of the people that are pushing against. This is wrong. This shouldn't be. This is terrible. This is awful. We shouldn't have money. Nothing should cost anything. I'm speaking specifically to money here. That's the base of the pyramid. You're in the pyramid whether you like it or not, right? You're part of the pyramid. And somebody said something, I was talking about the pyramid, and they said, well, what about, homeless people that don't earn any money? Of course they're part of the pyramid. Look how much commerce is generated on behalf of the homeless.
Mm-hmm.
And how much discussion and how many people run political campaigns based on that. Of course, they are in the system.
Mm-hmm.
They are in the system. They're just at the base of the system. So think about that. So thoughts on those things?
Sorry, Anne-Marie, I jumped
That's fine, go
in.
ahead.
Just quickly, because I think I'm very aware that there are lots of new listeners, and the thing that you spoke about, the trusting when you're actually down your spiral, that I think is such a key concept, and something that was a complete and utter game changer for me, and I know for everyone, is that, and it's a work in process. I've only graduated a couple of months ago, so it's still a work in process, but oh my God, the freedom and the understanding is just massive in that. Of before, when of course when I wasn't aware of the vibrational flow taking me down, then I was just starting from zero again. Whereas now that my perception has definitely moved way up, and so the downs are a lot higher than they used to be, but of course they still occur. And then that absolute trust, getting to that point of trusting that everything is fine, it's exactly how it's meant to be, instead of freaking out and thinking it's all gone to hell in a handbasket. When you're down, you're still, it's all going to work out. And what was it yesterday that Kerry was saying? Best possible outcome. That your stopgap of, is this worth going down my spiral about? No, like you sort of go, no, and it's not. And then, okay, I'll find 3 things to appreciate. And then just that trusting in the best possible outcome. I think for new people that are maybe hearing these concepts for the first time, it's so, just the sense of relief and release in that is enormous. So, sorry, Anne-Marie, you were about to say something.
No, it's fine. Oh, I wasn't sort of similar in what I was thinking. It's just when I first joined Bootcamp, and it was all like, you're going to live your life every day in joy. I was like, I can't comprehend that. I can't see how I can get to joy every day. I'll settle for happy. Just being happy every day will be a plus. Oh, so get it now. But also, getting down in that polarity, and you're trying to find that appreciation, and nobody really showed you before how to get to your blocks and how to work through these blocks and understand how to appreciate your blocks, and just get in that. And then, yeah, exactly. I've graduated a couple of weeks after yourself, Deborah, and it's just a game changer, isn't it? It's just understanding that you can feel this, and then you can manage how you feel, and you can appreciate the things that before would have broken you. I mean, and you made me laugh a minute ago when you said, do I want to go, is this worth going down my spiral? Well, actually, previously it was like, yeah, this so is. I just don't want to be there. I want to be angry. And now it's just like, duh, no, I don't. And it takes
Well, yeah,
so
and
much
again,
to get
you're
back
moving
up.
through vibrational flow, but you're releasing the judgment of the vibrational flow, and that changes everything.
Yeah,
That's
it really does.
Yeah. Expansion. There'd be no expansion without that, would there? So.
Right. And having a clear understanding of that is a big game changer for everybody that dives in and starts learning this. So if you're new to the Tya practice group, or if you're watching this somewhere else and you don't know what the Tya practice is, it's a mindset practice. I channel source, and we call that the stream. It's the stream of David. I believe everybody has source flowing through them, and I channel my source, and we call it the stream if you haven't seen that. And what I did is, I love channeled messages because I've been channeling my whole life, but I needed to create a system from those messages to operate my life effectively, really in opposition of what society was teaching me to society taught me to be a victim. Society taught me to give my power away. Society taught me that, there's luck, and people have bad luck and people have good luck. I grew up in a scenario where I thought I didn't have any luck because I grew up poor and everyone around me had money. And I thought, okay, the cards are stacked against me here. I don't have all these advantages that these other people have. And the stream swooped in and said, that's not how it works. This is how it works. And it ended up being true. So I created a system for myself to fully integrate all of their teachings in my life. And then I started teaching it to other people, and that became the Tya practice. So Tya is not a religion. There's no rules whatsoever. There's no worship. One of the first things the stream said when I started channeling, we talk about, are you God? And the stream said, we are the source of all creation. why do we need you to worship us? And I thought, oh my God, that makes perfect sense. Like, no, that's not what we're about. We're a consciousness, and that's it. We're not a deity. I loved that. So there's no worship. There's no, rules or behavior or anything like that in this practice. It is a mindset practice that is about you gaining deep understanding of universal law and applying it in your life systematically, so that you sort of retrain. You do. You retrain your subconscious mind to operate in harmony with universal law. And the universal process of creation is more than just the law of attraction. That's very important to understand that. Law of attraction is gravity. We're attracting all of it. But people have a hard time wrapping their minds around that, because we're attracting things very often that we don't want. And inevitably, I get this. I had one on TikTok the other day, how did I attract XYZ? There's no way. Well, exploring how you did is magical and highly transformative when you get into, okay, how have I attracted, being abused as a young child? It's not about you deserved it or you wanted it or you were paying a debt to something. It's about vibrational flow and the contrasting environment that you project into. And when you get that, then you kind of start seeing your whole life differently. And it's like, holy crap, this is how I've created my reality up until now. And when you get that intellectually, then you can really start having fun, because you can start being a lot more in control. I don't know if control is in the right word, a lot more intentional in how you create. But it's not about just being in perfection all the time. We're running these ads on Facebook now, and somebody made the comment, lots of trolling comments, of course, on a Facebook ad. And then I found out from our marketing company that that's great, because it boosts the ad. I'm like, okay, fine, troll away, go for it. You're actually saving me money. That's great. But somebody said, if law of attraction were real, because there's a picture of me, and I don't really love the picture of me, but the marketing people think it's great, and it seems to work. So there's a picture of me, and somebody commented, if law of attraction were real, you wouldn't be bald. Okay, I can kind of see that, but I haven't even thought about attracting hair on my head. And I'm actually pretty much at peace with being bald and in every aspect of my appearance.
You mean those bald men are sexier, right? Come on.
Yeah, there was nothing in that ad that said anything about make your life perfect. And that's important to understand, that you definitely make your life happier, more joyful, and absolutely more abundant. But it's not about perfection. We're all works in progress always. And the thing about Tya is we have a Tya mastery program for people that have graduated Bootcamp. And the first thing I tell Tya masters is you're never going to master this. I've been doing it my whole life, really, and I've not mastered it. I get better and better and better. But I have come to really love the exploration of the imperfection.
Yeah. How boring would it be if we were perfect? So deathly dull. What would there be to look forward to?
Yeah. Yeah. So, for people that are looking for the perfect guru, that's not going to be me. Sorry. I'm not signing up for that. I'm going to put all my imperfection out there all the time, but I'm going to do it joyously. And I'm going to tell you how I'm working through it and what's going on in my life that is working and what isn't working. And the stuff that isn't working, that's where the gold is, really.
It's so refreshing, that, isn't it, Anne-Marie, seeing how real David is and how generous he is in sharing. That really makes such a massive difference, because he's not holding himself up to be some deity that never gets it wrong. And it's
I have been told if I want 10 million followers, I have to tell people what they want to hear and put myself.
That's hilarious.
Oh well, we'll just have to have fun with less followers. It's just the way it is. So, but I like being real. I want to give people authentic tools to transform their lives, and that's what we do. So I love that. And it absolutely is possible to transform your life on any topic, but the money topic is a big one for people, because we have constant reminders of where we are vibrationally or where we were recently vibrationally. So you get your vibe up, and then you have a bill that rolls in that you can't pay, or it's going to tap you out. If you let that take your vibration down, you are creating the cycle.
It's interesting, isn't it, how it tends to be one of the big three, like that we usually have two out of the three, and then it's, I don't know what the percentage is of people that, health, relationships, or money. Like you were saying that you knew you would always
health and body, relationship, and money are the big three. Because think about it, we all think we need those three things working to be happy. But I've been broke and I've been happy. I've been alone and I've been happy, and I've been overweight and happy. I've definitely put weight back on and I'm still happy. The other two are working for me right now. So I need to, maybe I'll just keep it now. I'm just kidding. So the idea of having to have everything perfect all the time, you're not seeing the value in the work that we do on shifting things and going DTS and having things spin out and unravel. I love the unraveling because once you embrace things, the power to change them arrives, right? So when you have a health, your body condition, health, relationship, business, finance, any of those things sort of spin out, you are creating an opportunity for yourself to build it back even better. And the spin out is highlighting the flaws. And if you go up in vibration and pay attention to the flaws, then you solve them.
Yeah, but that's good. Quite a challenging concept to people who are new to this, because it's taken me a while to come around to embracing the DTS and embracing so if you're new to this, listening and thinking, oh, I don't fancy the thought of having to be down in the dirt and and think, oh hurrah, I find appreciation for this. It's actually, I mean, it's so doable. It sounds like it's a real stretch, but it's I mean, what was Bootcamp? 12 weeks, and that was another thing which I thought, how could anybody possibly transform that much? God, yeah, I was the most skeptical person.
You were so suspicious.
We had a whole group yesterday in the meeting of people that have transformed significantly in a handful of weeks. Significantly. So yeah, you can.
Mad. Well, there, I'm that example, and that, like, I think I'm a really good example, because I was so resistant. And I was like, yeah, right, like you can change that much in 12 weeks. Come on, yeah. And there was me, then doing my own testimonial 12 weeks later. I mean, it's just extraordinary.
Well, you had a big aha right away in Bootcamp, because you had a big plummet.
Oh yeah, massively. If I hadn't been Anne-Marie, I wouldn't be here, so I would be dead.
I feel I should be on commission for Deborah, because I got her into Money Mindset, I got her into Bootcamp, and I got her to stay in it. You owe me, kid.
Mindset. That's a very good point. No, but it was because right at the beginning, that massive plummet. Yeah. And if it hadn't been for you, Anne-Marie, because I was thinking I must have had that emoji face when we spoke of that. Totally stunned. My mind was in such a place of resistance and fear that I couldn't even read the module. I could make no sense of it whatsoever. And I had, as you know, completely convinced myself I was going to be the first person to be kicked off the course. And had it not been for your wonderful, soothing, calming presence, and actually taking that time to listen to this, like deer in the headlights, then who knows?
Exactly. But I was the opposite. Mine was at the end. I could not see how I was going to get through it and how I was going to graduate. And seeing your transformation, and you just go, hi, I was comparing myself, going, what am I doing wrong? And then you learn to release it all and to trust yourself. And I got there, and since graduation, boom.
I know, it's
amazing.
So happy. That comparison thing is such
yeah, and it's something to be detuned, right? It's presenting itself to you, and it's saying, hey, detune me. Think about that. Every limiting belief, including comparison energy, is a transgressor speaking up, asking to be detuned. And
that's
detuning is magic.
Exactly.
Yeah. So Mona made a point. Mona said it's the mindset of luck. Just like how people say, I always win at the casino or I always lose. Your luck is your belief system. Mm-hmm. Because we see that. People that believe they're lucky or they're good at manifesting something. A lot of times in the coaching, we'll talk to someone everyone has something they're good at manifesting. Sometimes people are good at manifesting friends or relationships or, great health. Some people are just great at money. I was always great at manifesting money, but not health and not necessarily relationships for a while. And there's always that thing, but understand that you can take your attitude toward that thing and layer that into anything. Mm-hmm. and make that your new mindset. But understand that in this practice, the practice is the fun. We're not trying to cross some finish line where everything is perfect all the time. Everything generally gets better and better and better and better as we do the practice. And we find joy in life, in the imperfection of life. And that is so important. And when you're not quite there yet, it says, yeah, that's great, but that's not what I want. I want perfection. I want my relationship. I want my perfect health. I want my perfect body. And I want loads of money. That's great. But what we do in this practice is you realize that as long as you're wanting that stuff and needing that stuff, the universe only answers yes. Just like I was saying earlier, when you're up here at the top of your spiral regarding money, the universe is sending you money. Yes. And then when you dip down and you start doubting and fearing and wondering how, the universe is going to say, yes, you're right. How? Stop.
It doesn't differentiate between the small and the big stuff. It's just
there's no difference. There's no difference. It's the universe is not a judgmental entity. That's why we have what we perceive as suffering in the physical environment, because it's not judging. The universe isn't saying, I'm going to send you suffering because you're bad, and I'm going to send you abundance always because you're good. Obviously, the universe does not operate like that, because good people suffer, right? People who are kind, people who are infants suffer.
Yeah.
So how do we wrap our head around that? A lot of times people will question the existence of God because they're suffering. Well, I absolutely question the existence of this judgmental God that is making some people suffer and not others for whatever reason. It really is just the consciousness of the universe, which is non-judgmental, delivering experiences based on our vibration. And our vibration is not just our attitude or our past lives. It's also impacted by polarity, which creates our human experience. And the only reason any human experience is bad is because we have been taught to judge it as bad.
Yeah.
But if you make it just an experience, that changes everything.
Yeah. That's another one that's really hard, though, to wrap your head around if you're hearing it for the first time.
Yeah.
But that's the ultimately freeing thing, isn't it? And that literally does free you from everything.
Yeah. And if you're watching, there's a lot of you watching right now. How does that set with you? Type in comments, and if that makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, if you have questions around any of this, this is the time to ask them. This is free training.
Yeah.
Free Tya training right here from
really
two bootcamp graduates and the creator of the practice. So type in your questions, say hello, let us know what questions you have around that. We have time to answer some of those. So in regard to this idea of going back to financial abundance again, that everything should be free, or that nothing should cost money, or how much does it cost? That's too much. All of that is rooted in limiting beliefs. And when we start talking about stuff like Tya Bootcamp, people put on the brakes. Well, no, you can't ask me to spend money on something. Well, that's cool. Spend money on something when you're ready to spend money on it, or don't. There's no requirement in here for this, right? So I see the value in getting into the coaching program because I work with people that are in it every day, and I see the life transformation that they have. And it's amazing to me that people want happiness. I want to be happy. And we'll see this sometimes because people fill out a form when they want to do one of the meetings with us. I want to be happy. I want to be abundant. I want to do this. I want to do that. And if you talk about even putting in a little effort, suddenly that's too much. Isn't that amazing that we see that sometimes? Is that because they're lazy, or is it just an abundance block rearing its head?
I think that's fear. I think it's fear as well, because I know sort of certainly for me with my money blocks, it was money doesn't bring you happiness. And actually, since doing boot camp, just my focus isn't money. It's just the experiences that I have. Because it's just kind of sidelined it. It's not my focus anymore.
Yeah.
But I do think a lot of it's fear because people are scared. Money is the root of all evil, and all these beliefs that we have.
Yeah. I don't know what the root of all evil, of course, is all about judgment of everything. And if you start taking away the judgment, then you don't have to worry about the root of all evil. But a lot of people do think that way, that anybody that's asking for money must be fake or evil or fraudulent. Again, that's a lot of the feedback on those ads that we run. Like, oh, this is fraud. It's your knee-jerk reaction that a spiritual mindset program is fraud. They didn't even click on the ad. They didn't go research anything. They're just triggered. So they're showing us their trigger in their trolling. They're
Absolutely.
showing us their trigger. So if you're triggered by things like that, I say dig in and explore that. Why are you triggered by that? Why are you fearful of something that might cost you something? Why are you demonizing something because there's money involved in it? That's an abundance block. Now, at the end of the day, you spend your money on what you choose to spend your money on. So get into that a little bit. What is the root of your trigger around that? And could that indeed be your actual abundance block?
That was me 100%. Yeah, absolutely.
So JB is on watching us on YouTube, and they are saying, I'm still trying to wrap my head around the how to make a living in doing what I want to do. Doula for the dying. We actually have, there's someone in boot camp right now that is a doula for
Yeah.
the dying.
Yeah.
And she's doing that. She makes her living doing that. So there is absolutely a way to do that. I was a corporate guy. I was a corporate executive for many, many years. I made a lot of money, and I'd created this belief system that I needed to have that career ladder and structure to dive into money just a little bit. I certainly did not have money growing up. I grew up in a very poor household. And a lot of people around me were moving into family businesses and things like that because the parents had the money to send them to college. They already had the business going. And I was envious of that for a while. And in my envy of that, I created that victim state for myself that I can't do that. Even though I'm entrepreneurial naturally, I can't be an entrepreneur because I don't have a trust fund to do that with. And I created that reality for myself for a while. So what did I do with that? I actually started out at 19, starting my own business with no money. And then I fell back. I created this funky belief system that I needed to go get into a corporate structure. And I spent 25 years in a corporate structure climbing the ladder. And I climbed to the very, very top of the ladder in the corporate structure. And I was earning a whole lot of money, but I wasn't happy doing what I was doing. I didn't like it at all. I had renegotiated my dreams, right? I'd settled for corporate. I'd settled for a type of industry. I'd settled for a company. I'd settled for this. And I realized I was making all this money and I had all the material things I was supposed to have, and I wasn't happy at all. And I had really ramped up my own Tya practice at that point and realized that, gee, I have, solved everything in my life with this practice. And now the last frontier is I'm sticking myself in this job. So I just quit. And I quit and I manifested a path to doing what I love doing every day.
Yeah.
And it's my living now and will be for the rest of my life. And it's creating a living for a lot of other people too, which is amazing, and creating change for a lot of people. I absolutely love it. So JB, there's absolutely a path for you to do that thing that you're passionate about. And you've got to shut down your inner critic, and you've got to shut down all those external critics, all of your well-meaning friends that are like, oh, I don't know how you're going to make money doing that. You should do X, Y, Z. I promise you, there is a path to someone being at the top of the pyramid doing just that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And guess what? A doula for the dying, everyone on the planet is a potential customer, right?
That's true. It's pretty cool that we do have
a range of potential customers. There is a way for you to earn the living that you want. And I always say, think about this also. Separate the job from the money vibrationally. Because I have people that work for me that in the beginning of the business could not pay them a whole lot of money because there wasn't a whole lot of money coming in the beginning. And they loved working for me, and they manifested financial abundance outside of working for me, which allowed me to have this amazing person working for me that I had to ramp up being able to afford. And they still had the financial abundance flowing in that had nothing to do with the job they were doing. It's possible.
Yeah.
So separate the money topic from the career topic. Pursue what you love, give it the power. Don't even attach the money topic to it, and make your financial abundance something separate. The two may intertwine. Don't get so specific about that, because the more specific you get, the more weight you're placing on your desire. And the problem with the weights that we place on these desires is when we're moving through vibrational flow, those heavily weighted desires, because it's got to be this and it's got to be that and it's got to happen this way, polarity is just going to pull them down that much faster. And that's why we quote unquote fail at things. So separate the thing that you want to do from the financial abundance, let them merge if they so choose, but be very general and best possible outcome. I want to be a doula for the dying in your example, and I want a flow of financial abundance, whatever that looks like for me. So think about
This,
that.
this question really resonates with me, because I used to think, right, I really want to own my own business. I'm not really sure what it is. I think it would be around my book, and I'm not sure, blah, blah, blah. And I really just used to focus on it, and I hated my job for it. And I was just really struggling. But now, okay, I'm really enjoying my job because I understand that I will create this. This is going to happen. And it's just releasing that fear of being stuck in that job for the rest of my life. How am I going to get out of it? And it's just, like you say, stop that focus, separate it, and just trust. And I'm enjoying the journey a lot more for it. I'm enjoying my job. I'm having fun. Part of me, like, quite happy to stay there and do on the side, something else on the side. But I know what my plan is now, and I know I'm going to get there.
The way you are,
Absolutely.
and what you're doing. Yes. Otherwise, you'll just generate more of the same. Yes.
But
And
I was so there. I was so there.
Yeah.
The Tya practice is all about shifting your mindset so that you can move through vibrational flow in a very, very different way than we do right now. So it's not this, oh my gosh, I'm down, it's terrible, nothing's going to work, it's hopeless. It's not that anymore. It's, I went DTS, down the spiral. I went down, I manifested an obstacle. I know how to get myself out of that. And I can look back at that obstacle and see that it's showing me what else I need to detune in my life. What was the trigger? What was the thing that occurred down there? What was the unwanted aspect that was present that I can detune? And detuning is very powerful work, and it's a big part of the Tya practice. So Deborah and Anne-Marie are two of many over 100 graduates of Tya Bootcamp. So if you're interested in learning more about Tya Bootcamp, just type the word Bootcamp in the comments whenever you're watching this, and we'll circle back to you and give you more information about that. They took a course that we offer called Tya Money Mindest, and we have a link in the notes for wherever you're watching this. There's a link where you can join Tya Money Mindest, and that's a little slice of boot camp regarding money, because a lot of people have abundance blocks regarding spending money to get into a program as big as Tya Bootcamp. Oh my gosh, there's so much fear. But you see these very inspiring testimonials from people who have transformed their lives. And again, we're going back to that. People want to transform their lives. They want to get out of that rut that they're in, or that unwanted cycle. But on the surface, it seems like they're unwilling to do the work or put the money in, or do whatever it takes to get there. But it's really not that. It's not laziness. It's not lack of desire. It's the abundance block that's holding them back. And an abundance block is not just about money. An abundance block can be, that's not going to work for you. That's that part of your ego, that little niggling part of your ego that wants to poke at you and say, that's not going to work for you. This is a scam. Don't trust this. It wants, that part of your ego wants to keep you where you are. Does not want change. Fears change. And we all have a component that is fearful of change, right? Or I used to. I got rid of it. Kicked it to the curb a long time ago. But most people do. They have that part of their ego that wants to limit them and hold them in place. And it kicks in. Don't do that. That's not going to work. You don't want to put that effort in. It's not worth the time. You don't have time for that. You've got children, and you've got a business, or you've got, a career going on, and you got all that. You don't have time for that. But people that allow themselves to do it, exactly, people that allow themselves to get in. And we have people that own their own businesses, are raising small children, in marriages, do Tya Bootcamp while they're doing those things. You do Tya Bootcamp while you're in your life. You do Tya Money Mindset while you're in your life. That's important, because you want to take these tools and apply them to your everyday life. So don't let that little voice hold you back. And what is happiness and abundance worth to you is the question.
Literally, what price happiness? Literally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can, we teach Tya everywhere. We have a podcast, we have books, we have free ebooks, we have masterclasses, we have the Facebook group. If you're not in it, the Tya practice, you can get in and start moving with it. Bootcamp is an immersive 12-week program where while you're working your life, you get in and really learn the Tya practice, and you hear from these people, and they're all real people. They're all on Facebook. You can interact with them right here in the Facebook group. They're all real.
We're actually actors. We're being paid for this.
Yeah.
Well, you didn't believe any of the testimonials, did you?
Yeah, I think Deborah said that. She said because we have a lot of testimonials. If you go to our YouTube channel, we have a whole playlist of testimonials. We have several more that are being edited that are about to come out. And what is it you said? You thought that they were drugged or paid?
That they were paid or on drugs, yes, or drugged, yes. I have to be careful sometimes with the English sense of humour, don't I? It's like when I said we're actors, we're being paid. That people could take that literally.
Yeah, they're not, but it's okay. That's so funny. That's so funny. But I will say that I know for you, and we started out, there's a lot more people on now than there were in the beginning. We started this conversation out with the fact that you were skeptical of all of this, and you were skeptical of the idea of spending money on anything spiritual. And I totally understand that. That's a very common thought thread. But you allowed yourself to dive into Tya Money Mindset.
Yeah.
And I think, and you can say this better than I can, it seems for you that it helped you with the mindset and manifesting the funds to get into
bootcamp. Yeah, I mean, massively. It was literally from the outset, literally to the very first time I sat down, and the first exercises to go back to where your original money block came from, and go back to the experience, to the exact experience. And it was like, holy crap! Like, and from there on, it just made complete and utter sense. And so that fell away, and it started to come in. And like the person that was saying that they'd love to be able to do what their passion is and to earn money from it. I mean, I was stuck in in pure fear in an absolutely absurdly stressful job. And I had been trying to get me out of it by various ways. One of the most spectacular being sending an email, which I thought was to the sales team, and sending it directly to the client. Yeah, and still I didn't get fired. It was like it kept trying to. But anyway, so that's finally blown out of the water, and I am headed exactly directly towards doing my two great passions. And if it happened to me, the most stubborn and most resistant, most cynical.
Skeptical. Yeah, I've never heard anybody think that our testimonials were drugged. So I think that's that's a whole other level of skepticism right there.
Oh yeah. I think it's a British thing.
Yeah, that's true. I have taken note of that as well. But we actually have a lot of British people in Bootcamp. A lot.
Yes.
So that's good. So if you're interested in learning more about Bootcamp, type the word Bootcamp in the comments wherever you are, and we'll just circle back and give you a link to learn more about it. If you're interested in Tya Money Mindset, which is a great way to, if you are fearful around the idea or skeptical or judgmental around the idea of paying money to learn this, take Tya Money Mindset. It's one of those things that it will help you really shift the way you think about money. And I'm going to leave you with this just one more time, pointing out that you cannot be demonizing our system of commerce and be at the top of that pyramid. If you want, and if money's not important to you and it's authentically not important to you, abundance can mean anything that's important to you. So when we talk about Tya, TYA, trust your abundance, that's your abundance, what your version of that is. And if you don't care about money, that's fine. Don't. Money can absolutely supply happy experiences and comfort in this world. It absolutely can, but it's not a guarantee of those things. And it certainly doesn't replace authentic joy. And what we do in the Tya practice is we teach you how to create your own authentic joy, not pretending, not bypassing, not love and light, everything's good all the time. No, it's not that. Authentic joy. And that's the most magical manifestation that I'm aware of, is authentic joy regardless of conditions, not needing anything to change, not needing anything to be perfect, not expecting perfection, loving the imperfection, the perfection of imperfection. That's what Tya is all about. So money mindset is a great catalyst if you are judgmental or fearful around money, around any topic, and want to make peace with that. Tya Money Mindset is a fantastic course, and we have 2 graduates of it right here. They both went from Tya Money Mindset right into Tya Bootcamp and have had a fantastic experience graduating Bootcamp. So if you're ready to dive right into Bootcamp, type in Bootcamp and we'll talk to you about that. If you're ready for Mindset, just tap on that and you can do that. Or if you just want to keep hanging out and doing more of these Tya Talks, we love doing these Tya Talks, and we do them every Wednesday in the Tya Practice Facebook group. So join the Tya Practice Facebook group, TYA. We do these every Wednesday. We bounce around in time because sometimes we have UK people on, so we'll do them in the morning like we're doing now. Sometimes we'll have Australians on, so we do them in the afternoon. Sometimes it's just a plain old American. And we'll do them usually around 4 p.m. Pacific is our time. That's normal for us to do it, but we bounce all over the place on Wednesdays. So check back with the group, and we do an announcement every Wednesday morning of when that Tya Talk is going to be, and you can join us live. You can ask questions. We are here to answer all your questions and help you along your Tya practice, whether you ever join Bootcamp or a program or not. We're here for you. Anything else from the two of you? Last words?
I would just say that really, to the people that are listening to this that maybe aren't participating so much in the Facebook page, please do, because it's such a lovely community and it's so inclusive. And sometimes it can feel a bit sort of like almost two-tier. People think that it's just for people that are in boot camp and it's
for every member. That's a good point. Every member should be interacting and posting, and I love that.
Yeah, I really would love that. So.
Good. Anne-Marie?
I think for me, it was when you were going on about feeling that joy, and I was looking at my face and I was looking at Deborah's face, and we were both beaming because it's hard to comprehend, but now we're through it, we feel it. So yeah,
such a great point.
Trust us, because it works.
And trust these two for sure. I'm here because I'm bald and I can't manifest hair, but you two, you both have plenty of hair, so they should trust you.
Feel free.
All right. Thank you all so much. Deborah and Anne-Marie, thank you so much for joining me. It's always fun. I can't wait to do one of these again in the near future. And for all of you out there, I hope to see you in the group and active. And the Tya practice is for all of humanity. So jump in and start learning it. Thanks, everybody.
Bye, Thailand.